Good evening and welcome to the Laughing Monkey Music Show. Chat on Robin McAuley. How are you?
I am very good, Sean. Thanks for having me on. I know you're rushing around, and it's good to be here on this Thursday. Thank you.
Well, you're welcome. I mean, I'm a fan of yours. I know you've been doing the rounds, and like I said, I heard this album, and I had to be a part of it. I had to talk to you about it.
Oh,
It's a good album. Like
thank
it
you.
rocks.
Thank you.
I think it's gonna fill the appetite of a lot of people that like rock from I'd say the late '80s up until now. I mean, it has a lot of moments in it, for a lot
Yeah,
of
well,
people.
this is my third. It's my third on Frontiers. And we took it up a couple of notches from the first one was Standing on the Edge to Alive, and some new players on this. New producer Aldo Lenobile did an amazing job. We're jumping up and down. We're pretty happy with it. So, yeah.
Well, how long did it take you to do this album? Because I know you had some of the players from your past music, so I think that may have added to the speed of the process, the
Yeah,
song quality.
we kind of started the same way, actually, middle of 24. Same writing team. I had Alessandro Del Vecchio, who was with me as we began it. Andrea Cerveso, my guitar player for the last two records. Um,
Crushing it. Great guitar.
right, right,
Oh,
and a good point because that was one of the things Alessandro at the time and I discussed. I really want to push him up front and center on this.
this is a guitar album, people. This is
Oh,
really a guitar album.
he's a great guitar player. And I think one of the first tracks I got in was like Till I Die, and I went, "Pfft, we're off to the races here." And then sadly, Alessandro left the label. Aldo comes in, he's the new in-house guy. And so we got to know each other pretty fast. He's a great guitar player himself, he's a
Yeah.
bass player. And then he introduced a new drummer, Alfonso Mosserino. He brought in Alessandro Mamola for extra guitars. Antonio Gata played some keys. Really, the only real keyboard track is the title track, Soulbound. And we decided, just faders on stun. Let's go for it.
Now, do you write in the studio? Or are you writing remote? Everyone has different ways now. Ever since COVID, people have done have just done the remote thing now. Like,
Yeah,
where are you at now with your writing
I'm
compared to
in
the old
LA.
days?
I'm in LA. It's remote. The solo life is a tad lonely because they just throw the stuff at me. It lands on my
Right.
desktop. I got a bucket of songs. Um, Aldo came in and then he threw another six after I had completed like 11 or 12 songs. And he goes, just for listening, just for listening.
Hmm.
Just maybe you want to swap out something. And Soulbound was one of those tracks that I swapped out. And he introduced a couple of new writers for Bloody Bruise and Beautiful and Wonders of the World. I rewrote as that came in. And suddenly we have the 11 songs that we're going to try to lock down. And I use the same studio. I work out of Institute of Noise LA here with Andy
Okay.
Zolman that I did for the last two records. So that part of
Great
it
sound.
is the same. And then I send it across the universe and it lands somewhere in Naples.
Very international. Well, I see because you're also busy. Obviously, I've been following you with Black Swan, which I love. We can talk about in a second. And then you still do stuff with Michael,
Yes.
and I still love that because I'm always excited when I saw it was a revelation and resurrection. So seeing you pop up on these things, still being a part of that
Well,
environment is
thanks.
very exciting for me because that's where I met. That's where I was
Actually,
introduced to you,
yeah,
musically.
in 9th of March, I will leave for Miami, Florida, and we will pick up the Monsters of Rock cruise there from
Yeah.
10 to 15. So I'll be doing that with Michael.
Oh,
Um,
nice.
yeah, there is also a new MSG album that I have a couple of tracks on, so that'll be coming out at some point when he's done promoting his 50 years of UFO.
That's
Um,
amazing. The amount of time you guys have been doing music. If you think
I
about
know,
it, like
right? I know. Just when you thought it was over, it ain't over till we say so.
no, I mean, but everybody sounds good. You sound great. Michael sounds great. I mean, this
Yeah,
is, you know what I mean? Why
and
stop?
yeah,
It's what you love.
yeah. We're and that's the key. My voice is still there, thank God.
Oh
I
yeah.
still have a heap of fun doing what I'm doing, and my wife goes, "Aren't you supposed to be leaving? You're not supposed to be home."
Just commenting on it. Do you? And I mean, it's not actually. I don't know about you. When you write songs? Do you have like lyrics and stuff to the side? Because you do a lot of projects. reaching out
Yeah.
to you to sing on stuff. Are you playing guitar, like cowboy chords or
No,
piano
I'm
melodies?
cowboy chords. I'm just terrible. Around the
I
campfire, a
am
few
too. I mean,
chords.
look, but
Yeah,
it's fun. But
yeah, a few
you,
chords. I'm big into guitar players. Right, go figure. I'm big
yeah.
into heavy drums and not to digress, but Red Beach is a bitching guitar player,
Oh,
to be working with.
all right.
Then you work with Jeff Pilson, you're going, how better is it going to get? And I am blessed, absolutely blessed, blessed, blessed that I have somebody like my guy for my solo stuff, Andrea Cerveza, who's just right from the first time when I heard Standing
Mhm.
on the Edge, when I started to write that track, I loved his tone, I loved his melodies, and he can do all of the stuff. Um, and he's just a great guitar player. And I said, dude, I'm just going to claim you as mine for my records because I want to keep that sound all the
Yeah,
way through. If I'm going to be doing solos for Frontiers, I need your signature sound with my voice. And here we are, 3 records in. It's just yeah, he's great.
it's
And
great. Yeah.
and not to keep cutting across you. So come
No, no, no.
April 27th, we'll have the Frontiers Rock Festival in Milan, and I actually will get to walk on stage with the entire band and cut loose, as they say.
So, have you guys played live at all? Because obviously, you've done remotely. How much live work have you done with the band over the years?
I haven't played at all with the studio guys right now,
Oh,
and they're
oh,
not.
wow.
Of course, Aldo's not a studio guy. Alessandro's not a studio guy. Andrea, they all play out. Um, I have taken the solo stuff out with an English band. And
Right.
I did a bunch of stuff last year. I have all of August booked for the UK with that same band.
Yeah.
And then there's a great band out of Gothenburg in Sweden called Gathering of Kings. And they insisted when I did a show about 3, 4 weeks ago in Sweden that they would be my band. And I'm not exaggerating. I walked into the studio and these guys started playing stuff off the solo record. They started playing McAuley Schenker songs, and I'm going, are you kidding me? I mean, it was just awesome. And it had a fresh, up to date sound. It was like just gave it new legs. And I went, this is just right. I was laughing and
It, it,
it's
it's
kind of
deserved,
ridiculous.
though. No,
Um,
but it's deserved at this point in your career. And I don't mind you cutting on to me because this is what we're talking about, promoting all your stuff.
yeah,
I mean, all you guys have had ups and downs, and Rock's at a good point now. If you guys are sounding good and having fun, this is a victory lap for as long as you want. You should be able to go into a studio and have it done. You've already done all the days of like the rock and roll fights and all the garbage and the people not showing up being messed up. Now it's pro stuff. You're at the levels of pro.
this
You need
this
people
this
to
is the
deliver
fun.
for you
This
now.
actually, you're absolutely right. This
You
is
know?
the fun time. This is
Yeah,
the fun time. The pressure is off. There's no
yeah.
point in it's like we're not striving to, you know, write by numbers. We're writing what comes to us. We write what we feel, and I think it's
Sometimes that's better though, don't you think? I mean, it feels
off
natural. This album, nothing feels preconceived.
contrived. Yeah,
Right, it
yeah.
does. I mean, it's a similar type of rock music, but sometimes I'll hear an album and I'll be like, it's not that it's not unoriginal, it just feels like it's forced, not, you
Yeah.
know. And like when I heard this album, like I said, I heard it, I was like, wow, this is kind of fun. And then I kept listening
Oh,
to it. I just hadn't had time to listen to it because Black Swan and everything, and I've had Jeff on a bunch of times and stuff. So, and obviously I'm a Schenker fan, so I'm familiar with that stuff I've had on. I just hadn't gotten to this album yet, you know. And hearing it, I was very excited. So
well,
yeah, I'm
thank
here
you.
to push it too for the people. This is a good album. I mean, great riffs. Production is fantastic.
Yeah,
I love great production. I love drums that are recorded properly, and we do
yeah.
the drummer props. Drums sound great. They're produced properly. They sound great. And sometimes that's missing in an album. And I
No, it
think
is.
it adds to the dimensions and the dynamics of this album. It makes it bigger,
Yeah.
and it fills the room. I don't think this is a quiet first date record. I mean,
No,
maybe I
no,
don't know. I don't know who you're dating, maybe, but
no,
it's
no,
it's
no.
definitely a big room. It's a big rock room record. It's a rock record.
Yeah, it
You know,
isn't.
it's a celebration.
Yeah, talking to Aldo, and I said, look, what we've tried to achieve with records 1 and 2 was to, sure, it's always going to be classic rock, but try to give it a little sort of fresh, modern
Yeah,
up, uptick, and not make it laborious. I have no, I'm bored with all of that stuff. More of the same.
yeah.
People go, dude, cool lyrics. You got to like, dive into your book of lyrics, and I went, I don't have a book of words. I don't have a book of anything, you know. Um, and if I have lyrics on my desk that I didn't use for something else, they're most likely not on my desk because they didn't make it to the last one. They're not coming up
Really?
here. Everything is pretty spontaneous. I like to hear the music fresh, and there's always something in the track that will dictate to me where it should go. And in my head, I'm in my head,
Hmm.
and
I
that's what happens.
You have a good ear for melody over some of these riffs because sometimes you hear an album, you hear musicians and guitar players. I think you listen to them and you be like, as a player, I'll be like, geez, I don't know how they came up with a melody for that because some things you hear a guitar player and you're like, it adds, it feels like there's a melody there and you can kind of build off of it. The players you play with, kind of you're like, you've really got to build melody out of nowhere sometimes because that's the kind of players they are, which is great for the players. It's just got to be hell for a songwriter to come up with
I'll
a
go back
melody.
to, I'm going to go right back to Red Beach again because, he's Mr. Songwriter with all of those great hits with Winger over the years.
Yeah.
And he sends in this stuff together with Jeff, and I'm going, ah! because sometimes I'm so first, and I'm going, I have no idea what to do right now. And I listen to it 100 times. And then I'm always questioning myself because I'm going, I have to get past these two guys. How am I going to do that? And so I'll demo it
Hmm.
and I'll make my notes. And then I would only change that. I would only change that. We're good to go. And I get in, I talk to Jeff. We do a 10-minute pre-production so he can map it out.
Yeah.
And I'm in recording and off we go to the races. Jeff has a great ear for, he goes, I just love this melody here, and I'm going to counter that with something in the background. Reb will come in and Reb will go. Funny with Reb because he's just such a great guitar player. He go, you're
Yeah.
singing a major there, and I'm actually playing a minor, and I'm going, I did not know that.
Yeah, I did. Of course. Yeah, that's why it
Oh,
works.
and he goes, it's not that it's wrong. What is what he got a great phrase. It kind of rubs me, man. That's what he said. But I mean, it's done in it. We fix it in a flash, or we're on to the next.
But is it, there's those things that you do, you play it like you play things a certain chord in a certain way in a certain intonation, and
Yeah,
you're like, it doesn't look, it's not actually right musically on paper, but it sounds right. There is that too in music where you're like, that doesn't make sense. That's actually
that
against the
is.
rules.
I keep quoting Frank Filippetti, who produced the McAuley Schenker "Save Yourself" record.
Hmm.
It's something I have taken from him that stuck with me all of these years. Frank would go, and a typical New York, it's not perfect, but it has a vibe, and
Yeah,
I'll take the vibe over perfection. It's not that it's out; it's just got a thing, and we're going to leave the thing. And I'm going,
yeah,
you're so right because spontaneity. You go, shoot, I had no idea I was going to sing that. It happened in the middle of the phrase, and off I went. And he go, don't fix it. Don't forget what you just did. This is great, you know. And that's what creates the excitement in the
I
recording
think,
process.
and also I think, well, not to take away from your talent. I mean, look, you're at this level of talent recording. You know your voice. You got this level of songwriting. If you, I mean, that's just not arrogance, it's just confidence in who you are. Reb's there for a reason, and Jeff, he's a singer, he's a producer. I mean, he does all kinds of things too. He's always doing a project. So you have this full, so you got this whole thing. You guys are already at this all like this ninja level of music. So you guys know what you're doing with your eyes closed, right? Like, so
Yeah,
you
well,
could
I
do
don't know.
you no, but you could do a song and just kind of
Right.
crank it out and know how to write a song without really putting effort into it if you want to. But you're not doing that still. You guys are
Yeah,
still going for the vibe and what feels good and being like, no, I can't do that. I can't put my name on that. That doesn't
yeah,
feel right.
yeah,
At this level, I mean, you guys have the skills to kind of just dial it in and
yeah,
produce something that would make somebody happy selling your records, but you're not doing
yeah.
that still.
No, and Jeff is great when I work with him on that. By complete contrast, doing my solo stuff, it's just, and I tell everybody this, so I work with Andy Zuckerman, my engineer, who does an
Mhm.
amazing job over these last three records. He knows the mics I use for the softer songs, the harder songs. Um, the mic is going to take it without distorting, and the ones that I need on the quieter side. And Aldo will send all of the tracks, all of the stems in, and he's got layers and layers of tracks
Yeah.
for every song. And then I come in, and he goes, "I'm good to go. I just need you to run the song because I have no idea what you're going to sing because I haven't heard the demo." And I'm going, of course you haven't. And I didn't send it to you either. So I'll start to sing quietly and just map the song out from. So he's like,
Right.
Pro Tools, and he goes, okay, now I know where you're going to come in and where you're not going to come in. And that's always a funny thing. But um, we have a thing. We record all my vocals, every single track in about 2 hours, which include all the background vocals. And Andy's thing is
For a song or for an album?
for a song. Oh, I
Okay.
wish I could do it in 2 hours for an album, but per song we don't spend any more than about 2 hours. And Andy goes, if you don't
That's
get
pretty great.
2 hours, go home because now
Rest. Yeah.
you're fighting with it. And we usually do that. I come in, it's usually pretty much mapped out what it is I'm going to do, what I'm going to sing for background vocals. Um, and that's basically what we do. And off it goes to somewhere in Naples.
Part of your, I mean, you have a strong voice. The part of having a good voice, I mean, some people are like, well, I don't take care of it. And I've talked to other singers about this. It's always a thing. But your voice is still very strong. And part of it is natural, and part of it is how you take care of yourself. And sometimes you can be like Keith Richards and be 150 years old and not take care of yourself and still be rock god on stage playing your guitar, and you can get away with it. And then sometimes you can't. I never say negative, but you got the other end where Keith just, I mean, I'm sure he's probably cleaning, probably whatever, but he can do it. He did it,
Yeah.
and he still does it. A lot of people can't do that with any of their instruments. But talking about that to your voice as an instrument, what's the
Um,
balance for you? Natural health, like over the years? Because I mean,
well, I have to stay healthy. It's super important. The voice is fickle. My voice is fickle. I know my limitations, and I always describe my voice as like the ping pong table. I see what the lines are. If I fall over the edge, I've got
yeah,
to take it too far. But I know what to do within those parameters. I take just great care of it. I can be working in this when it's time to record, period, beginning to end, no matter how long it takes. Um, I don't touch alcohol. I've never smoked in my life. I exercise a lot. Um, I do a lot of moisturizing for my vocal cords. I have
yeah,
vocal mists. I do all of that sort of stuff.
yeah.
Um, I always tell people whispering is really bad for your voice. So you can talk quietly, but if you're whispering, you're not
Really?
actually saving your voice because you're putting more pressure on your vocal cords now to push the sound through, and it's actually creates a grating over time. So no whispering. Speak softly, speak quieter. Um, Stay hydrated, very important. Lots and lots and lots and lots of water. When I'm in the studio, I'm up all bloody night because now I drank so much water. I'm in the bathroom in and out, and it's
Well, that's
like,
what happens to get older.
you
But
know,
the stuff you do to your voice, like I didn't know about the whispering thing. Like all my life, that's, and I'll tell now I can tell my kids because they say, "Dad, where'd you learn to whisper in a helicopter?" I, that's an expression. They'll say that to me. I'm like, "All right, I get it." But
yeah,
the point
yeah.
is, I never thought about that because there's so much you can do. The voice is so important. Do you do any vocal coach training or exercises
I did
between
all
and
of that. I did all of that, and then I do my warm ups and I do my warm down. It's very, very quiet. You can sing into your hands, and if you put your hands in front of your face
yeah,
and just speak normally, you can see that the volume immediately picks up. Uh, if I'm on tour, I usually find the corner of the room for warm ups, and I'll go right into the corner.
yeah,
And I'll do my warm ups, and you do them very quietly, little shrills, little exercises, just to warm up your. It's a muscle. It's a muscle, and you exercise it, and you warm it up. Icy cold water, not a good idea. Not a good idea because now
no,
you're taking it and pulling it away. And if you get to a point where your voice is tired, now you're really pushing the air through that small gap. That gap that's like, oval shaped. Um,
mhm,
and when that starts to close in, is when there's less room for that air to come out. And you can imagine if you were sitting at a piano and just hitting the one note for hours and hours and hours, your finger will most likely
right.
get a little sore. So imagine now you have vocal cords that are going bang, 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 and now they're getting swollen, and the gap is not so much. So there's like that space that you need to project that air gets tiny, and now you're in trouble because now you're really pushing. And
Yeah,
then
especially blow out your voice.
it's time to pull the plug and take a little vocal rest. Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that. It's really interesting. I didn't know because like sometimes people are I just don't do anything. I yodel for 5 minutes and go out. And some people have a routine like you. A lot of people do. A lot of singers that are known to be singers that have kept their voice their entire career have more of a routine like you.
Yeah, it's very
That is
important.
the that is the one common thing I've noticed with performers is they really kind of have a thing, before a show, they go find the bathroom or a shower,
And we're
backstage.
weird. We're going around back saying, we're doing
Yeah.
all of this. And they're going,
Hey,
dude, are you okay, dude?
what do you want, man? What do you
Yeah,
want? Back in the day,
yeah,
don't want to question you. I want what he's gone.
yeah,
Um, it,
so
so I do want to say you mentioned playing capital chords. Do you do anything with your guitar? Like, are you playing like rough ideas for your songs with, chording out ideas?
I just have just chord structures. That's all I have.
No,
My
but do you
son
ever do
plays.
anything like that for songs for yourself? Like,
No,
hey, I came up with
no,
this to write.
no,
No?
I'm not just not good enough. I'm just fortunate to work with people who've gotten to know what it is that I kind of like to do. In addition to that, I love challenges. I'm working on a project out of the UK that if it ever sees the light of day, people will go, not a chance, dude. No way. It's like full orchestra. It's sort of I'm going to give a little bit away. It's kind of Middle Eastern in sound, which is very, very different kind of rhythms. A huge challenge and the best. Oh my God, it sounds. If you ever get to hear it, it's
Oh, I mean, you
it,
kind of tease you. You're gonna have to do it now
it's
and put it
nothing.
out there.
It's nothing short. It's nothing short of amazing. There's even, and I'm going to push this one. There's even an Andrew Lloyd Webber song on there, and
See, those are all powerful
and
songs.
and that doesn't get too shabby, and it's just
No,
yeah, it's just I'm dying to get it finished. We got a bunch recorded already, and it's the next set of it's the next suit of clothes.
I think you should. I mean, that would be great. I think, and I don't know where you're going with it, but I can say like if you're doing Middle Eastern vocals are very challenging and very different. I'm not
Oh
saying as we do. It's a different world. It's literally like a bike and a car.
yeah,
Like it's so different. They both
yeah,
travel, but they're
yeah.
not the same way to
And
travel.
I'm taking that music and I'm doing a combination of what it
Yeah.
is that I do in combination with that sort of that 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 musical journey that they take. It's amazing stuff.
It's
It's
crazy.
amazing stuff. It's
It is.
amazing.
It's actually underrated. People don't realize how hard, how
Oh
challenging
God. Oh
the music, how beautiful it is, but it's also very challenging and very hard,
yeah.
and that's exciting for me to hear as a fan because
Yeah. And
I like
I'm
I like that
always
kind of music.
yeah, and I don't and I just hate being stuck in a rut just doing the same. More of the same, more of the same. I mean, we've done it and we'll keep doing it and we try to make it better every time, but then I also need the challenge to do I've never done that before. Am I too late to do that before?
No.
Uh answer to that as long as my voice does what I ask of it, I can do it. Yeah. And
Hopefully, maybe the next year or so you can get it done and get out there.
you will hear about it because
I'll be talking to you about it because
I know who you know and I'll make sure that you hear
I
it.
do want to hear it. Honestly, that's very exciting. It's more exciting, than all this because you know, this is. I do want to say this has been great. I don't want to keep it too long. This is short because this is really just a push for the album. I mean,
Yeah, thank you so much.
I do want to say Black Swan. Anything coming? Also, while I'm talking to you because I'm a fan
Black Swan as
of the Swan.
Black Swan
Great name.
as of yesterday,
Yeah.
we kind of finalized the track listing, and number 3 is in the can, ready for mixing.
Look at you.
And I don't think people will be disappointed. It's ass kicking, and it's Reb is just he's on fire on this one. The work that Jeff and him and myself did to get these songs done is I think it's yeah, I think we went Shake the World into Generation Mind. We don't have a title for this yet, so I suggested
Yeah.
a title yesterday. We'll see if that one sticks. And I think it's a great record. It's just a
How are you
great
going to balance the time? Because I just get the soul thing now.
yeah.
And how are you going to promote it to
I
balance it?
think I think realistically, I could see maybe the fall. I don't see it coming before that. By the time all the artwork's done, the pressing, yada yada
Well, at
yada.
that point, you do the fourth quarter. You want to have it done fourth quarter for holidays, right?
Yep,
So
exactly. So
that's just a good business move. That's just what that is. That's common fiscal sense.
yeah, you have to keep thinking of lots on the other side of the coin. You have to think of it
I
all.
think of life in quarters like that.
I
So
know.
once you hear it once, you can't unthink it.
yeah.
So
Right? Exactly right.
That's what it is. Rob, I want to thank you. This has been great. I'll have you on again. We'll talk some more. We'll
John,
dig in.
please. Thank you so much. And yeah, tomorrow, February 28th,
Wow.
Soulbound. We are
Check it
all
out, people. On all the sites. Pre-order it. Get your hands on it. If you can't hands on it, stream it, hear it. There's videos out. Oh, go to
awesome.
his sites. Go to his YouTube. Go to his
Yes,
things. Subscribe. Follow him. And all that jazz. All
thank you
about all
so
the stuff.
much. Frontiers Music SRL will give you all the info you want. Thank you.
Even better. Rob McAuley's Soulbound. I always say Spellbound. Soulbound.
Soulbound. Thank you, Sean.
Tomorrow. Take care. Take care,
Have a
man.
great
Thank
day.
you.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Bye.